Welcome to Prime at 9. I'm Lishini Chaste. Now the headlines. The Court of Inquiry constituted by the Indian Army to investigate the Mon incident visited the site at Oting village today. As per Indian Army, the Court of Inquiry is progressing expeditiously and all efforts are being made to conclude it at the earliest. The Yimkyung Tribal Council has recalled all Yimkyung representatives from all eastern organizations. YTC said that the ENPO is not so serious anymore about the demand for statehood. Army has agreed to grant access to Nagaland Special Investigation Team or SIT to record the statements of soldiers who were involved in the botched up operation on December 4th. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi will be visiting Manipur in the first week of January. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh said PM will inaugurate projects worth rupees 6,000 crore if they can be completed in time. Now for the news in details. The Court of Inquiry constituted by the Indian Army to investigate the Mon incident visited the site at Oting village today. The team headed by a senior rank officer, a major general, inspected the site to understand the circumstances in which the incident could have happened. The team also took along the witnesses for better understanding of the situation and how events would have unfolded. Subsequently, the team was also present at TZ police station, Mon district to meet the cross-section of the society to include civilians, police personnel and doctors who treated injured for obtaining valuable information pertaining to the incident. As per Indian Army, the Court of Inquiry is progressing expeditiously and all efforts are being made to conclude it at the earliest. In another development, the Army has agreed to grant access to Nagaland Special Investigation Team to record the statements of soldiers who were involved in the botched up operation on December 4th. The Nagaland SIT is expected to complete recording the statements of the 21 Para-Special Forces soldiers this week, police sources said.
Right now I'm standing in front of TZ police station. Date 4 December te Oting village te Nagaland te kuntu incident Sara world ke hilai ja laga ekta incident hoisile brutally murder incident kobo mokhan aru itu laga inquiry home minister pura kuntu inquiry committee higher army officials khan laga banai dikine thakise to itu laga ekta team aji inquiry nimite place of occurrence te jai kene ase aru etia moi visuals dikhabole kobo TZ police station laga samne te mokhan ase aru TZ police station laga current situation itu ase already Nagaland government laga Nagaland administration laga kun administration khan ase sob security nimite eneka kaam kori thaka dikhi pai ase aru itu laga incident aji higher officials khan home minister pura kuntu special army inquiry team tai banai kine ase ahi kine bosti te kiman organization ase student union khan ase non political organization khan bosti manu logote sob laga logote interact kori ase aru itu place of occurrence te tai khan jai kine inquiry kori ase aru inquiry kora pisote TZ police station te ahi kine tai khan media ke bi interact koribo aru yate ki ase ki nai itu mokhan HornbillTV la viewers khan ke update to pichete jana paribo etia tak takhan logote ami khan bi bohana etia tak takhan ami khan ke time di ase etu time karne mokhan bi rukhi ase aru aji laga kuntu inquiry team higher official Indian Army laga kuntu department yate ahi kene ase kuntu regiment laga ki kun rank manu ahise to ami khan pichete janai dibo paribo holibi aji ahi kene mon te bi tai khan meeting korise aru Oting village te kiman village council ase kiman public ase aru already Indian Army pura ekta WhatsApp number di kene ase proper evidence raw footage ফুটেজ ভিডিঅ' ফুটেজ বা কিবা একটা এভিডেন্স হলে বি তাইখানকে শ্বেয়াৰ কৰিবি কৈ কিনে তাখান বি এইটো বিচাৰি কিনে সব ছ'চিয়েল প্লেটফৰ্ম কাণ্টে এইটো মেছেজ দি কিনে আছে আৰু অলৰেডি আমি খান এতিয়া টিজিত পুলিচ ষ্টেচন বাহাৰতে আছে ইটো থানা লগা জুৰিডিকশ্যনতে এইটো জাগাটো থাকিছিলে ভোটিংতে কোনটো এম্বুছ ইনচিডেণ্ট ডেট 4 ডিচেম্বৰতে হৈছিলে ইটো থানা লগা জুৰিডিকশ্যনতে আছিলে মন ডিষ্ট্ৰিক্ট লগা টিজিত পুলিচ ষ্টেচন আৰু তাখান তাতে প্লেচ অফ অকাৰেঞ্চ ভিজিট কৰা পিছতে ইয়াতে আহি কিনে মিডিয়াকে বি ইণ্টাৰেক্ট কৰিবলৈ আছে অলৰেডি নাগালেণ্ড লগা নন পলিটিকেল অৰ্গেনাইজেশ্যন আৰু কিমান ষ্টুডেণ্ট ইউনিয়ন আছে সব লগতে তাখান মিটিং যাই আছে এতিয়া তাক মখান জানি পাতো তাখান প্লেচ অফ অকাৰেঞ্চতে আছে আৰু এইটো আৰ্মি লগা স্পেচিয়েল ইনকুৱাৰী টিম কোনটো হোম মিনিষ্টাৰ পৰা ফৰ্মেশ্যন কৰি দি কিনে আছে তাতে এতিয়া তাখান লগা নিজৰ প্ৰচেছতে ইনকুৱাৰী হোৱাৰ পৰা দুসৰা কোনবি চিভিলিয়ান হবি বা দুসৰা তাখানকে ইণ্টাৰফেয়াৰ কৰিবলৈ তাখান দিগদাৰ পাব কৈ কিনে বেছিভাগ মানুহ তাতে ৰেষ্ট্ৰিক্টেড কৰি কিনে আছে আৰু ইটো প্ৰপাৰ ইনভেষ্টিগেশ্যন হ'ব কৈ কিনে অলৰেডি হোম মিনিষ্টাৰ পৰা বি এছুৰেঞ্চ দিছে আৰু ইটো জাগাতে নাগালেণ্ড লগা ষ্টেট গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট লগা কথা ক'বলৈ গ'লে নাগালেণ্ড গভৰ্ণমেণ্টটো বেছি ষ্টেণ্ড দি কিনে আছে আৰু আছফা কৈ কিনে কোনটো আৰ্মছ এক্ট ব্লেক ল কৈ কিনে এতিয়া নৰ্থ ইষ্টে আছে এইটো লগা ৰিফিল নিমিত্তে বেছি প্ৰটেষ্ট যাই আছে অলৰেডি হৰ্ণবিল টিভিলতে আমি খান A to Z দেখাই আছে গ্ৰাউণ্ড ৰিয়েলিটি কি আছে গ্ৰাউণ্ডতে কি আছিলে A to Z আমি খান দেখাবলৈ ট্ৰাই কৰি আছে আৰু ইটো লগা প্ৰচেছ আজি হায়াৰ অফিচিয়েলছ খান কোনটো দিল্লী হোম মিনিষ্টাৰ পৰা নিজৰ ফৰ্মেশ্যন কৰি কিনে দিছে আহা পিছতে তাইখান কি পাইছে আজি এতিয়া হোৱাটছআপ নম্বৰ তাইখান জাৰি কৰি কিনে আছে হলেবি তাইখান প্ৰিলিমিনাৰী ষ্টেজতে কি এভিডেন্স পাইছে কি ইনকুৱাৰী পাইছে এইটোতো মখানকে যেতিয়া তাখান প্ৰেছ ৰিলিজ বা প্ৰেছ কনফাৰেন্স নিদিব আৰু তাখান আমি খানকে নকব তেতিয়া তাক প্ৰপাৰ ইনফৰমেশ্যনটো আমি খান বি ক'বলৈ দিগদাৰ আছে তো আজি তাইখানকে লগ পোৱা পিছতে আমি খান প্ৰচেছ হ'ল কি হ'ব আৰু এইটো ফিউচাৰতে কেনেকা কিমান দিন লাগিব আছফাটো পাৰ্চিয়েলি নাগালেণ্ড পৰা উঠিবনে নৰ্থ ইষ্ট লগা আদাৰ ষ্টেটতে বি আছফাটো উঠি যাব ইটো লগা ওপৰে ডিটেইলছ তাখান লগতে ইণ্টাৰেক্ট কৰাৰ পিছতে জানাই দিব পাৰিব ইণ্ডিয়ান আৰ্মি লগা হায়াৰ অফিচিয়েলছ লগতে নাগালেণ্ড ষ্টেট গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট পৰা SIT কুই ফৰ্মেশ্যন কৰি কিনে আছে তাতে লগা মেম্বাৰ খান বি আজি কোন আছে কোন ইণ্ডিভিজুৱেলি ইয়াতে আহি কিনে আছে কি আছে তো প্ৰপাৰ টিম অহা পিছতে মখান কমপ্লিট লিষ্টটো হৰ্ণবিল টিভি লগা ভিউৱাৰ্ছকে একচুৱেল ইনফৰমেশ্যনটো জানাব পাৰিব দে উইল ইণ্টাৰেক্ট উইথ মিডিয়া এবাউট 1 PM আজি লগা ডেটতে তাইখান এতিয়া প্লেচ অফ অকাৰেঞ্চতে আছে আৰু এইটো আৰ্মি লগা স্পেচিয়েল ইনকুৱাৰী থকা পৰা বাকী চিভিলিয়ানছ আৰু বাকী কোন পাব্লিক বি তাতে এলাউ কৰা নাই কৈ কিনে জানি পাই আছে আৰু ডেটছ ৱাই আমি খান তাইখানকে ৰখি আছে 1 বাজি তাইখান টাইম দি কিনে আছে ইটো পিছতে হৰ্ণবিল টিভি লা ভিউৱাৰ্ছ খানকে ইটো লগা প্ৰচেছ কেনেকা যাব কি হ'ব হোৱাট উইল হেপেন নেক্সট টাইম আৰু ইটো লগা প্ৰচেছ কিমান দিন লাগিব ইটো লগা একচুৱেল ফিগাৰটো মখান তাখান লগতে ইণ্টাৰেক্ট কৰাৰ পিছতে জানাবলৈ সাকসেছ হ'ব
As doctors continue to protest across, it seems like there is no end to patients' woes in the hospitals across India. Vandana, a patient's mother who came to RML hospital, said her son has a kidney-related disease and doctors had asked to undergo some medical tests. Today, her son was supposed to undergo an eye test and accordingly, an appointment was fixed, she said. But due to the protest, no testing is taking place in the hospital and her son was referred to this hospital from GTP hospital, said Vandana. Another patient from Dwarka said his wife has to undergo surgery on January 11. Before the surgery, a biopsy procedure needs to be completed, he said. Now the doctors are protesting the biopsy has been delayed for the time being and he doesn't know when they will conduct a biopsy, he said. Now let's get across our senior reporter Anguli in the newsroom to get more details on this big story. Yes, L. Yes, L, it's been like around 12 days that the doctors are protesting. What is the latest update on this big story and then has there been a breakthrough yet?
Yeah, I think going by the reports that we have been having every day for the past about 12 days, so far there has been no indication that there is a solution in sight. Of course, the government has tried to meet with the resident doctors, and yesterday the Union Health Minister met with the resident doctors. And it was not a discussion, it was merely an interaction between a minister and a group of resident doctors. And during the meeting on Tuesday, the minister expressed regret for the action that was taken against resident doctors during their protest. They allegedly assaulted some of the protesters, for which the protesters again intensified their agitation. And they were also told by the minister that right now the matter is pending in court, the NEET PG counseling process. The matter is in the court, so this is something we cannot do anything about it right now unless we wait for the court to say something. So those were the only assurances that were given to the doctors. There was no invitation for talks about hammering out a solution to this issue.
Okay, so what is the response of the protesters in this regard?
It's the same stand that they have been having over the past about 12 days. In response to the Union Health Minister, the resident doctors said, we are not satisfied. So they practically told him that they're going to continue with the agitations, but this time the agitations will be continued not based on the issue of NEET PG counseling that they have been so far demanding to be resumed. This time they are going to resume and continue the agitations in regard to the action that was taken against them by the police. They're alleging that the Delhi police manhandled them and assaulted them. So what the resident doctors are demanding is that they want a written apology from the Delhi police. The Union Health Minister had actually expressed regret, but even that too, they are not satisfied. They want a statement from the Delhi police, and they want today on Wednesday the government that they're not going to call up the protest unless the Delhi government issues a statement of apology.
Yes, Al. We have also heard of many cases of patients being denied treatment because of this protest. So to what extent these protests has been affecting the hospital services?
Yeah, Lishani, just as we were reporting a little bit earlier how some of the patients have been suffering because there were no doctors available in the hospitals. Right now, it's only been about 2 weeks now since the protests began, and it would help to have some data, some stats to tell us that this many patients are suffering, this many ventilators are not working, this many hospitals are not working, this many registration counters are not working, there's no one there, this many personnel are missing from work because of the protests. I wish we would have some kind of a data like that to actually measure the impact of the protests on patients. But what I can tell you right now is that most of the government hospitals in Delhi are facing shortage of specialized level health workers, and that is the doctors, the resident doctors. They are an integral part of the health infrastructure, and they offer specialized service support to the hospital management. So there is shortage of resident doctors. So in such an event, it is the outpatient patients who are suffering. For example, in Delhi right now, there is no registration going on for patients who want to be admitted in the hospital. No registration. Even if you are dying, if you don't register, they are not going to take you in. That is the process there. And patients in need of urgent medical attention, hypertension, diabetics. So those people, they cannot go in and get their regular treatment the way they used to because the doctors are all on the streets protesting.
Now that we are hearing about the health services facing difficulties, what else we have to worry about besides this?
Yeah, Lishani, that is a question I think the government has been asking over the past about 2 weeks since the protests began. Right now, there is shortage of resident doctors, specialized healthcare workers in the hospital, and the protests come amid a pandemic. And right now we are talking about the increasing number of the new COVID variant Omicron. In Delhi on Wednesday, 73 fresh cases of the variant was reported, taking the capital's tally to about 208 238 Omicron cases. Now that's a huge jump from about 3 weeks ago, where it was only about 26 even in Maharashtra. So what we're talking about here is not just the health patients, outpatients who are suffering for lack of attention from specialized healthcare workers such as doctors. What we're talking about here is a very weakened, very thinned healthcare service providers who will be taking charge of a very significant and scary case as the pandemic, that is the COVID pandemic. So the health infrastructure is not ready to really tackle COVID cases in case the third wave comes. So that's one thing that is bothering the government right now.
Thank you, Al, for the latest update.
Thank you, listening.
Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi will be visiting Manipur in the first week of January. Confirming the news to HornbillTV, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh said that the state government has already identified the projects to be inaugurated and also the projects for which foundation stones will be dedicated. According to N. Biren Singh, projects worth rupees 6,000 crore will be inaugurated if they can be completed in time. Further, foundation stones will be laid for projects worth rupees 8,000 crore, Biren Singh added. Sources said that the Prime Minister will inaugurate the long overdue new Secretariat buildings, the construction for which is underway at Manipur. When HornbillTV visited the site, construction works seem to be going on in full swing. However, whether it can be completed on time cannot be ascertained, as a large amount of work still seems to be lagging. Sources in the ruling party feel that if the new Secretariat project can be completed on time and inaugurated by the Prime Minister, it will be a major election plank for the party, as the project could not be completed by successive governments. It may be mentioned that the Legislative Assembly election is expected by early next year.
We have already identified the projects which will be inaugurated and the projects which will be the foundation stone laying will be done. There are around 6,000 crores of projects will be inaugurated, I'm expecting, and more than around 8,000 will be Bhumi Puja, foundation laying will be there. And expecting in first week of January. Not finalize the date, but expecting.
The Chuchuyangpang Kakechir Telangjam Chuchuyangpang Students' Union celebrated its Platinum Jubilee on December 28th and the 29th at Yumkong Shiba Temsung Chuchuyangpang village in Mokokchung district. Speaking at the program, the special guest MLA Dr. Ngangshi K. Ao said students are the capital of the future and there is a huge challenging task ahead for the leaders from the grass level to the top level to develop unused potential capital for a brighter future. He also stressed on the need to introspect and develop a new vision of education system, pointing out that Nagaland state is the worst performing state in Northeast SDG index as per Niti Aayog's report. He lamented that the state is performing below par comparison to the neighboring states formed after Nagaland. In this connection, he urged the youth to take the challenge to remove this tag. He further urged CSU to retrospect, introspect, and start visualizing their vision.
Tang mener tang iba mabang anu kono asunu ke tauba mabang ji la par brangse panok takok tamakok tam asunu ke brangse asunu tang kjiya mar anu taru vision taji kangadang aruka pilama as reta ke daktene with 1946 nong thaza ni amangar yang in 1946 nong Ali ay gamalita uts la galasa zaya
Abijam se shin matsir sertuku there is strategy kunang arbanan here where there is no vision people perish Mangtang makaba kumbang makaba to samnungji napordum sama Husia Pacific Nujukudan Banania, my shamus. Kern boredom. She said, Zagi, and Nalibagi, Samadagi, the shamus. Kung Mangtang Baga, Kung Mangdam Dasumali, Kung Shisa Zagi, and Nalir, Ibanuji, Nisondamji, the Selenia word, a poop Samai.
The Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Nathaniel Students' Union is underway at Nathaniel with Tokishe Kiba, Director of the Information and Public Relations, as the chief guest. The program began on December 28 and will culminate on December 30th. Speaking at the Jubilee celebration, Tokishe Kiba drew a parallel of the pupa to butterfly metamorphosis to that of a successful person's life, and that the struggle is a phase of life every successful person should experience. Kiba asserted that with knowledge people learn the difference between good and bad, and with the knowledge they can change the world and bring peace. He urged the students to pursue knowledge. He added that even if a person is learned but is not being needed by the society, it isn't true knowledge.
According Chicago area mafia gang, El Capone Kyogo, Sicilian Italian mafia gang Lakibere. It get years la prohibition drive state, new data, get to give international war syndicate, hippo, black, bootlegging, black lanage, pro, JQ, Pokol, Nassing system, mafia gang. Ketlen una El Capone geli chulpani panu mafia game tipakona business moye hotel business au club control shi vepo ona notorious down magic fishing kare tipo lo kila lo laki ona taike alox timi ona kuitaige bere iki police kono mafia game tipako gaso ko ke habaya lo ye hipo educate bone ona taike ho panu khatwe ho Hakiresi dishiri khire ike mafia kono pisa patsi pare aje pishi rebu evona loksa duna aje pishi tishi loye shisere ike baya kulaki edward wahare epuachi.
Manipur Youth Affairs and Sports Minister and NPP leader Lipao Haokip joined Bharatiya Janata Party in Delhi on December 29. He joined the party in presence of Union Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Bhupinder Yadav and BJP National Spokesperson Sambit Patra. Lipao Haokip said he thinks that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Northeast region and Manipur will be developed.
इनका कहना है सबका साथ सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास, वही मूल मंत्र है जिसके द्वारा प्रधानमंत्री जी 130 करोड़ लोगों को साथ में लेकर विकास कर रहे हैं। हमारा देश एक नई ऊंचाई पे ले जा रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री जी नॉर्थ ईस्ट को आस्था लक्ष्मी बनाने में और मणिपुर को भी खेल के साथ साथ नई क्षेत्र में ले जाने का संकल्प में सहयोग करने के लिए मैं इनका नेतृत्व में ग्रहण कर मैं आज पार्टी में शामिल हो जाने का फैसला लिया है।
Ace Arena 2021, a dual tournament, futsal and online gaming mobile legend, was kicked off by MLA Dr. Imtiwapang Iyer today at Sungratsu High School ground, Alongchon under Sungratsu village. While addressing the gathering, Iyer observed that futsal is one of the games and sports where the Mongolian race has a huge potential. He said in order to win tournament, one has to be disciplined, patient and dedicated with full zeal on all fronts. He advised the players to play with dedication so that they could reach international level. Pending Chang, one of the organizers, said that Ace Arena was started in 2019 by a group of like-minded persons called the Thugs, and this year marked the second edition. It aims to promote the young generation with the new trends of sports and games both in the field as well as in the virtual world of online gaming. More than 20 teams are participating in futsal competition, while 16 teams have been qualified for online gaming Mobile Legends.
The Hawks tasir ipa organizer demi kupa sengaja lanu demi ipa ya tenzo ya kahadang ta jungwa ta udangaji atur filma mendang ebrangter aso no ataki mete games and sports yaji 776 BC nonga ya aso no kaji ipa ji ditpek salir Athens no first Olympic asayaba nonga ji ipa jarolya asir yamaji ipa nongjagi Arubaji asunok tang 21st century no games and sports doesn't gadang evolve sa arolier asir ipa futsal asir mobile legend tasba ipa ya aji doesn't evolve asba games and sports kalir.
That's all we have for now. Stay tuned for more news with HornbillTV.